and I'd like to test out. Let me know if you can hear and see me. See us and are excited about Rolling Realms Redux because today is Rolling Realms Redux Day. I'm really excited about that. I've been wanting to share with you. Well, I've been sharing it over the last year. It's coming. If so, I am recording this on a laptop of my normal computer. So I see Garrett, Joshua, Jeff, Mark, Ian. Okay, Mark says I'm live, but it is laggy, and that is to be expected. I am actually. Oh, Merlin's manager says he's getting a little glitch, but I'm going to keep on going and hope that it works out near the Wi-Fi. So it might just be a little weak today. So, and maybe I can change the settings a little bit. And I'm excited to be here on launch day. Okay, yeah, looks like I've dropped down to 720. I know this is going to be not high definition, but hopefully that will help the weak Wi-Fi a little bit. So what's going on is, well, two things going on. Most importantly, today is Rolling Realms launch day on the Stonemaier Games web store. So if you're about Rolling Realms Redux, I have the original Rolling Realms right here. Or you are looking to get some restocks because we have a ton of printed. Include, I'll read those off to you. Wormspan is back in stock. The Wormspan upgrade pack, playmats, apiary, tapestry, the tapestry revised civ pack, arts and arc, the golden eggs, and the first time the Wingspan bonus card pack, which are all the bonus cards that we've already printed, but they're all in one pack. And then we have some Rolling Realms promo that are now back to back. Along with those, we have Space Base, Dino Island, and Momiji Realm, and all those Rolling Realms. So you can get all of that on our web store. There should be a consolidated collection that you can go to if you click through our newsletter or the Rolling Realms Redux page of our website. And all these are live around the world, and everything is expected to start shipping to Champions, Stonemaier Champion, except in Europe. For Europe, shipments are slower than normal and have been for a while due to the attacks in the Red Sea. Those have really slowed things down and caused carriers to go all the way around Africa to get up to the EU. But it seems that people in Europe have become accustomed to that over the last few months and have been very patient about it. So I appreciate that, and we look forward to getting the currently as 2 weeks. Thank you all. Oh, here. My oh, there it is. Well, I'll try to pull that down now. Okay, there we go. The reason I'm on a laptop with a lag with a different backdrop today is that a family reunion at the beach. So I am at the beach right now in North Carolina, but I didn't want to miss out on the launch and miss out on all the excitement around this game. So I'm here today live from North Carolina at the beach at my family reunion, and people have been very kind to give me a little bit of space today for this live cast. So behind me is a beach picture. You can see that. And then I'll turn the camera around and you can see that we are at the beach over here. You can't really see it, but we're at the beach. and having a great time with around 30 family members from my mom's side of the family. But I'm really excited to be here today to talk about Rolling Realms Redux. I didn't have room in my suitcase to bring it, but my mom brought her copy of Rolling Realms, so I do have that as a little prop to show off today. We've been playing a lot of games here, including some behind me. You can see right behind me we have Spots. I taught Cat in the Box yesterday. We played Between Two Cities. My little nephew, 5-year-old nephew, beat me at Patchwork again. And then I still need to play the other ones. I have Ito, Skull King, and what's the other one I have? Cartographers. We have to play those. I also played a game called Zilch last night involving a lot of dice rolling that I had not played before, but we had fun with that. Let's see. People are saying that Facebook is freezing, but YouTube is doing a little bit better if you want to check this out on YouTube instead of Facebook. Steve says, is there a disc golf course near the beach that you're staying at? So we're in the Outer Banks in North Carolina. And actually, coincidentally, this morning, Megan and I went to a disc golf course that was just about 10 minutes away. We played here. My family reunion has been going on for around 30 years. Every 2 years we go here. And so we went to the same course that we went to 2 years ago and had, I would say, a great time, but also a rough time. I hit a lot of trees I didn't want to hit, but it was fun to get outside and walk around with Megan and throw the disc. So yeah, we did that. We did pickleball yesterday morning, and we've been doing a lot of just beach activities, including a game called ladder golf on the beach that we really enjoy. Let's see. Chad says that the Wi-Fi kicked in and is doing much better now. So that's great. I'm glad that's doing better. Sorry that wasn't working well before. Great. Joshua says, let's see if I can get the comments sorted. There we go. That was fast. Joshua says, I'm curious how the sales of Rolling Realms Redux will compare to the original Rolling Realms base box. Would this be something you would share in the future? The sales really, yeah, I'm open to sharing that in the future. It's a little early to tell. Rolling Realms was released 2020, maybe 2021. And so we're 2024 now. So we might want to wait a little bit of time to see how Rolling Realms Redux does. But maybe we could compare the launches of the two products. Let's see how Rolling Realms did back in the day when that released. I do have that Google Doc pulled up here. So Rolling Realms, upon launch, the launch of Rolling Realms back in 2021, indeed, October 2021, looks like during the 5-day launch period, we sold a little over 2,000 copies of Rolling Realms. So hopefully the last couple of years have garnered a little bit more interest in the product. And just for those of you who don't know, all the realms are independent and compatible with each other. So, for example, if you have never gotten Rolling Realms, all the realms in this box are not available elsewhere. So if you're getting this box, the original box of the game, you're getting 11 realms that aren't repeated anywhere else. So you also know when you get Rolling Realms Redux, those 12 new realms are completely new as well. Those have not been available in the original game or as promos. So there's no redundancy. It's all, you can generally pick and choose the exact realms you want unless you get a boxed version of the game or Rolling Realms Redux, and then you're getting the 11 or 12 realms in that box. Let's see. So Garrett mentioned that he's been playing some games on BGA. I get to play games with Garrett on BGA every now and then, and including it would be tonight. I'm probably going to miss my virtual game night tonight, though, so I can play games with my family here at our family reunion. Chad also asked, did I bring my discs to North Carolina? I did bring some discs to North Carolina, some discs that I don't normally throw just in case I lost them. I didn't lose any discs, but it was interesting and fun to try out some discs that I don't normally throw on the disc golf course this morning. Corey says he was just at Emerald Isle. Where's Emerald Isle, Corey? We're at the Outer Banks in North Carolina right now, which is a long, not a little island, but a long island strip in North Carolina. So I see people saying they have placed their order for Rolling Realms Redux. I appreciate that. I hope you all really enjoy the game. It was a lot of fun to work on and a lot of fun to see the creativity from a few different designers, including Carell, Morton, Mark, Nathan. I'm forgetting one fan designer, not Sam. I don't think Sam had one in there. Yeah, I'm forgetting one of them, and then Carell designed a bunch of them. And I worked primarily on the poker realm in the game. Matt Score did the realm that I'm thinking of. George says, any plans to sell marker packs separately for Rolling Realms in the future? That's a good question. I would say probably not. We have tried to sell the markers a la carte in the US, which is it's generally a little bit easier to sell a la carte stuff in the US because we don't have to ship. If we do need to sell a la carte stuff, a la carte is like we pull stuff out of a game and ship it to another fulfillment center. That is logistically difficult because we have to. Those products don't have SKUs on them. They don't have barcodes, and usually the shipping to get them to the other fulfillment centers completely removes any possibility of us making any money off of them. Not that we need to make profit on everything, but oftentimes we lose money on them, which isn't ideal. It's not sustainable. And in this case, because dry erase markers are just available on the market in a variety of different ways, we probably won't be doing that. No, but I appreciate you asking. Chad says that it's his first year anniversary of learning about Owen for the first time. Owen is Chad's adopted son. That's wonderful, Chad. Congratulations. Happy anniversary. Chad also, different Chad says, with the future plans of Rolling Realms to be only Stonemaier Realms. That's right. There are a few that we haven't released yet that we've already made, but yeah, the future creations of Realms. Is the current plan to make one for every Stonemaier game, knowing that eventually they would outgrow the box as well, or will they end at some point? Chad, I think it'll be pretty tough for us to outgrow the box because there is room, even there's like a main section of the box. I can't really show you on this box, but there's like a main section where they're all stacked this way. And that actually, if you have all realms, that is pretty close to being full at this point. But there's also a sidebar that holds the markers and the dice, and you can actually put realms in there too. So I guess it is possible that someday we'll run out of space in that box. But I don't think that would hinder us because at that point you could probably remove the insert and fit even more. And we don't make that many games anyway, so we'll see about that. But I don't think I would not make a realm because it wouldn't fit in the box, especially if it's just going to be a Stonemaier realm and it's almost the right fit. And now we have the travel box too. So you could actually pull out the travel box and just set it like on top of the box on your shelf and put more stuff in there. That'll work too. So yeah, good question. But yeah, we'll probably just keep going with Stonemaier Games. Joe says, welcome to North Carolina. Joe's in North Carolina too. Cool, Joe. That's great. Oh, and Corey says that Emerald Isle is also in North Carolina. That's great. Yeah, I've heard the name, but I haven't actually been there. So Stormlight had a question that might come up today. So he says they placed their order, got the 10% off. That's the Rolling Realms discount, but not the further 20% for being the champion. We have seen some odd scripting issues with that doesn't look like we're going to be able to fix today. Of course, you'll get the discount. It seems like the problem is tied to larger orders. I don't know if your order contained a lot of items, but if you do experience that, if you go to checkout or you have checked out and you didn't get the champion discount, please email your order number and your champion email from your champion email to contact@stonemaier.com, and we will apply the discount retroactively. So go ahead and place the order, and let me make sure this is still the instructions from Joe. I wanted to clarify this with Joe. Yeah, I don't see instructions about that yet, but that's going to be my instructions. Go ahead and place the order. Don't wait on the order, and then contact us with your order number and email, and we'll apply the champion discount. I'm sorry that isn't working. We're not quite sure what it is yet. It's a scripting issue, so it's something that's a little bit more difficult to place on the fly, and it doesn't seem to be happening to all champion orders. So if you have any unique elements of your order that we can look at to try to identify the pattern, that would be great to know in that email. Let's see. Bridget says, congrats on the Rolling Realms Redux release. Thank you. This is off topic, but I'm curious if you could give an update about the next Wingspan expansion and the upcoming Apiary expansion. So Bridget, as with every newsletter, we always update the news page on our website. Normally I would show you this, but I'm on my laptop. I don't have another screen to share with you. But the latest update on the Apiary expansion is that it is actually a little bit ahead of schedule, and I'm planning to announce the details about it in late August and then do a September launch. That's the current plan. Don't hold me to that, but that's the plan. And then I don't have a timeline or more information about the Wingspan expansion yet. Elizabeth is designing that expansion right now, and I haven't seen it yet, but I'm excited to see what she does with it. Darren says, what's the travel box? So inside the Rolling Realms Redux box is a tuck box. And that tuck box is a multi-use tuck box. Its primary and first usage is to keep all the cards upright. So if you don't have all the realms, then this little box, this tuck box, keeps the realms upright. And you can orient it in different directions based on how many realms you have. But as your box starts to get a little bit more full, or you want to travel with the Rolling Realms, as I thought about doing this weekend, but I had my mom bring Rolling Realms instead to the family reunion. If you're traveling, you can actually put a bunch of realms in this little tuck box and put some markers in there. The dice will fit in there. You can't pack it to the brim with stuff, but you can put some realms, enough to play a game of Rolling Realms with a few people. You can put that in the little travel box and bring that with you instead of bringing the whole Rolling Realms box. This was all Carell's idea to have this multi-use box, which I thought was really clever. G Money says, which disc golf courses are you planning on playing? We've already played. We played this morning. We played disc golf in the Outer Banks, North Carolina. And the course name, I think it had Chapel in the name. Let's see if I can find the name on Google Maps here. We played at, no, I didn't have Chapel. KCR Logan Disc Golf. It's kind of near the Wright Brothers Memorial here in the Outer Banks. And we had a great time. Great course. Joshua says, I was surprised that Etowah was the first Uwe Rosenberg game to get a realm. Was there any thoughts about other Uwe games as realms in the past? Bonanza would have been cool. That would have been cool. You know, I can't remember the origin story of Etowah. Carell might have a better memory about it, why we chose that realm over the other ones. I can't remember. I can't actually remember, because it's interesting that we chose that game out of all the games of Uwe's design. Tim says, was Stonemaier affected by CrowdStrike? Not that I have seen, actually. We definitely don't have any direct ties to CrowdStrike, and I haven't seen any indirect ties either. So no, not that I'm aware of. And I flew to get to Raleigh. We flew to Raleigh and then drove from Raleigh, North Carolina, to get to the Outer Banks. And we flew southwest, which was not affected by that either. The timing of this couldn't have happened worse for our family reunion, but I know a lot of people were affected in more dire ways by this. So I had a cousin that arrived 4 days late due to the impact of travel from the CrowdStrike. Hiccup is not the right word, but yeah, that whole messed up last week. Let's see. Okay, Stormlight says that they had an issue with getting the champion discount. Their order had 9 items. So yeah, that is more items. I appreciate you getting those items, but not really that many. So yeah, some sort of glitch is going on with the script. I'm sorry about that, and we can certainly help out if you email us your order number. This is about the champion discount not seeming to apply on all orders for some reason, and we don't know why yet, and we can't fix it yet. And so if you do have a problem with your order, just complete the order and email from your champion email address or contact@stonemaier.com with your order number, and we can retroactively apply the champion discount if you are a champion. Let's see. Braid Talk 41 says, are the new Civ mats included in Tapestry Arts and Architecture reprints the same changes that are in the revised Civ pack, or just the adjustments with the VP resource starting resources? So if we say in the description of the product on our web store that they are the revised civs, then they are the revised civs. They are not they're not previous smaller adjustments. They are the fully adjusted civs. And I'm saying it that way because we have updated the descriptions in, I believe, Canada and the US. Australia and Europe still had plenty of copies of the older versions of Tapestry and Arts and Architecture. So they don't, the copies that you're buying from that web store do not have the revised civs, and it won't be noted in the description. And I have further discounted those versions in Europe and Australia so that anyone who, I don't know, so there's not as much buyer's remorse about getting Tapestry and also separately buying the revised Civ pack. G Money says, I noticed that the die is not back in stock for Arts and Architecture. Is that because you haven't received enough back in stock notifications to put the product back into production? No, it's not about that. Because we made the die with the reprint of Arts and Architecture, but that is one of those a la carte products that we probably are not going to be restocking for the foreseeable future. But feel free to continue to indicate an interest through the back in stock form, and if there's enough interest, we might send them with another shipment from the US to one of our other fulfillment centers. Or maybe we need it in the US and we haven't realized that it's out of stock there. Those back in stock notifications are always very helpful to us. Oh, Kill Devil Hills. Yeah, this is one of the areas. We're at an area of the Outer Banks called Nag's Head, but Kill Devil Hills is right nearby. Yeah. Beverly says that she travels with Rolling Realms and she's excited about the travel box, which is included, for clarity, it is included in the copy of Rolling Realms Redux. It isn't a separate thing you need to go get. Mark says, with the first half of 2024 done, are things rolling out as planned and expected? He intended the pun there. Yeah, overall, yeah, ideally, my family reunion wouldn't have aligned with Rolling Realms Redux this launch, but it happened to align. Rolling Realms Redux took a little bit longer in production than we thought, but Stamp Swap and the Apiary, or a game name I shouldn't have said already. Yeah, I should bleep that out. A game that we haven't really announced yet, but it's already slipped out a little bit. And then the Apiary expansion, those are ahead of schedule. So, it evens out. Chris says, a Feast for Odin. That is one of the realms that was out of stock and is now back in stock on our web stores. Yeah. So yeah, I guess we do have that. That is the first UVA game that we put into one of our realms. Here we go. Carell says, Edoa was chosen because I was playing it a lot when we were choosing the realms. Yeah. Sometimes we choose realms just because of games that we are really enjoying at that moment. And yeah, Gray Fox also points out that A Feast for Odin was a previous Uwe Rosenberg game, definitely. And so Edoa was not the first Uwe Rosenberg game in Rolling Realms. Tony says, and I'll ask a question. I'm glad Tony says this. He played a new game last night called Da Da Da. It's a language building game where players are cooperatively creating a language from a group of different sound cards. Once you start the game, you can only speak in the language you have created, totally different, unique, and different. That does sound really cool, Tony. I really like that. And this made me think. So I'm here in the Outer Banks, North Carolina, at a family reunion, and I was wondering, what are your favorite games that you bring when you go to either larger family gatherings, or if you don't have larger family gatherings, larger group gatherings with people with a variety of tastes in games, and maybe you yourself don't have the headspace where you really want to teach a heavier game, but maybe you are. I ask that because that is the circumstance I'm in right now. There are some people that really enjoy games at the family reunion. But even the people who are really eager to learn games don't necessarily want a really, really heavy game. So like the heaviest games that we brought, you can see them behind me here. We brought Spots, Cartographers. So those aren't, particularly heavy games, but they do involve some teaching, some amount of rules overhead. I taught Cat in the Box yesterday. I had fun playing and teaching that one. We played some Downforce, and then playing Zilch last night. I've never played Zilch before. It's a game where you're rolling 6 dice, and you're just trying to score as many dice as possible. And if you are able to score all the dice, then you're able to re-roll all those dice and score the new results of those dice. But if you ever get to the point where you roll the dice and you don't score anything from the rolled dice, then everything that you've earned up to that point in that series of rolls goes away. Reminding me a lot of Can't Stop, kind of a variation on Can't Stop. Ooh, Beverly says, so yeah, so I mentioned how my travel for my family reunion was not affected. One of my cousins was, but as things go, travel to a family reunion is fairly low on a list of how things can be impacted. Beverly mentions that her hospital system, which is much worse, was hit. All computers down, and I'm sure it was very costly. Even today, not all computers are recovered. That is really rough, Beverly, and I hope you are doing okay and that your patients at the hospital are doing well as well. That's really rough. Ooh, Luke says he has a fancy gaming table arriving soon. Rolling Realms Redux will be one of the first 10 games that he plays on that table. Very cool. Tim is joining us. Tim says he just ordered the new Rolling Realms Redux, celebrating Amber's birthday tonight. Happy birthday to your wife, Amber. And can't believe that Gen Con is finally happening next week. Yeah, coming up. Gen Con is next week. So I have my family reunion and then Gen Con. I'm not attending Gen Con, but I will be holding down the fort in St. Louis while some of my coworkers, Alex and Dave, will be there. So feel free, if you're attending Gen Con, feel free to stop by the booth and say hi. I do have some information about Gen Con in our newsletter. Let's see what I have to share there. So our booth is 2909. As usual, we're partnering with MeepleSource. MeepleSource is the vendor on record for this booth. And so if you are looking to pre-order anything for pickup at Gen Con, there's a link in our newsletter for how you can pick up those items. You can't buy them directly for us because we're not the vendor at Gen Con, but you can buy some things directly from MeepleSource to pick up at Gen Con. Also, Gears of Corruption. The brick and mortar release for Expeditions Gears of Corruption was on the 12th, I believe, but the full retail release is on July 26th. That's this Friday. So if you've been waiting to get a retail copy, including potentially an ironclad copy, we sold out of our copies, but we did have some copies allocated to retailers. So you might still be able to get an ironclad edition of Gears of Corruption from a retailer. And we are, of course, making more because we didn't make enough ironclad copies of the expansion. So we're making more of those copies too. So if you want to hold off and wait a little bit, order as a Stonemaier champion, we will have you served in probably around 4 months. Reprints take a little bit while to get through production and freight shipping. Also, a little announcement that doesn't quite have an impact until next week, but Andrew Bosley, who we've worked with on Tapestry expansions, the Viticultural World expansion, he is creating a new world called his Smoking Bones world. This is an epic story, an epic world that he is building, and he has involved us in this world. We get to create some games in this world. That'll happen later. We're working on the games now, but the actual games will launch much later through Stonemaier Games. But Andrew is starting off this world, kicking off this world, sharing it with people through a travel guide that he's created for part of the Smoking Bones world. And he has a Kickstarter for that he'll be launching next week. It's independent of us, but it is something that we want to support because we're going to be really involved in this world, the Smoking Bones world from Andrew Bosley, best known for Everdell probably, but best known for Tapestry from Stonemaier Games. Next week. So that link, if you want to sign up for a launch notification, is available in our newsletter. Chad says, now that you're in a different setting that you're used to, do you find it beneficial for game design, or is game design the last thing on your mind? Yeah, I wouldn't say, I mean, sometimes it can be helpful to get out of my normal environment. I would not say that my mind has been much on game design this week. It's mostly been on, I have been working a couple times, spend maybe an hour or two a day working, mostly just focusing on customer service, answering emails, answering questions. Hopefully I'll write a blog entry tomorrow. I had a blog post on Monday. That sort of thing. That sort of kind of maintaining rather than really moving forward with anything. But most of my focus is on my family while I'm here, my family, because it is a family reunion. But there are also quiet moments for me to think about things and think about game design. So I haven't made any progress on game design, but it is on my mind from time to time. Darren says, will there be a revised Civilization pack for Fantasies and Futures eventually? No rush. We don't have any plans to do that. We're still gathering data. We need people to report more data from their plays of Fantasies and Futures, but we haven't, from the data we haven't seen any strong imbalances yet. So we don't have any plans to do that unless it needs to happen. Let's see. Someone has a comment about shipping. Shipping has over doubled since my previous order. So we have actually not changed shipping rates in quite some time. So if it has doubled, it is probably due to the size of your order, like the weight or the dimensions of the order, most likely weight. But we have not changed shipping rates since in quite a while. So it's not related to anything that we've done on our end. Let's see. Helen mentioned, thank you, Helen, for prompting me for my chocolate of the day. My mom made homemade chocolate chip cookies, so I've been enjoying those cookies throughout the week. And so, yeah, I'll say that I'll have a cookie maybe after this live cast and call that my chocolate of the day. Or any of you having any delicious, freshly baked goods this week? Any good treats? One of the highlights of my family reunion is that my family is full of very, very good cooks. And so I'm eating a little bit more than I would normally eat, but I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, every meal has been really good. And the meal I've taken on is tomorrow night. I'll do a taco/nacho bar tomorrow night with a variety of things available for tacos. What do you all like to put on? What's your ideal taco? If you make a taco from a taco bar, what do you put on that taco? Whether it's a hard shell or a soft shell taco, whatever you want it to be, let me know what you put on that taco. Stormlight mentions Codenames and Letter Jam would be their family reading games. I did bring Codenames a few years ago, and it went over very, very well. And then I ended up giving it to one of my cousins because they liked it so much. Fairly Odd Parent knows Zilch. I had not heard of Zilch before last night. Zilch is a big game in our family. It's the only game my mom will play. A lot of dice rolling, not hard to explain the rules to Zilch. I can see that being a very accessible game. Charles says, my family isn't into traditional hobby board games, so we bring a lot of things considered lawn games like cornhole, ladder golf, cube, sometimes making our own rules. I love all those games. Ladder golf is definitely our family's game that we put out on the beach in front of all the chairs. Might go play some of that after this live cast, actually. Damon J's games for gatherings are Wingspan, Kids Against Maturity, Rolling Realms, and Pocket Farkle. Good games. I haven't played Pocket Farkle, but I played the other ones. David has a suggestion. Illusions is a very good game for non-gamer families. Few rules, easy to grasp, gets people talking to each other. Everyone is a gamer and valid. Oh, that's true. Okay, I'm glad you said that, David. Illusions. I haven't played that one. I don't think I'll have to look that one up, David. I've played a game that comes to mind with some weird art on cards, but that may be a little bit different than Illusions. Eric mentioned The Mind. Yeah, that's a good one, Eric. We played that just the other day. We really struggled to get past level 3. We were not syncing well, but it was still a lot of fun. Eric says it can be as relaxed as you want and as low commitment. You're right. Yeah, you can drop in and out. I guess the only catch with The Mind is it doesn't really scale well past 4 players. We played with 5, but beyond that, you can add more people, but it gets really, really difficult with more people. Andrew says that dice game reminds me of Chicken. It was a big surprise of how fun the game was. I really enjoyed Chicken too. We talked about bringing that, but didn't end up bringing Chicken. But I do have a copy of that on my shelf. Paige says that she brought Sushi Go Party one time, and now all my siblings and my parents now own their own copies. Draftosaurus and Point Salad have also been popular. The Eevee edition of Point Salad in particular. And I love all those games. I have brought Sushi Go Party, or I brought Sushi Go. I have one of the really small box versions. But Draftosaurus, I can see that going over well too, as well as Point Salad. Garrett says, have you ever purchased a game without knowing anything about it? He says, I ordered Wilmot's Warehouse sight unseen yesterday. What prompted you to order it, Garrett? What was the deciding factor for you? There are a few designers that I almost order pretty much everything from, designers / publishers. So I'm trying to think the last time it was truly sight unseen. I know it has happened, but usually I do a little bit of research and know like a little bit about the game to see if it's a good fit. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but it probably has happened. Maybe other people have examples of that too. Have you played a game? Have you ever bought a game almost entirely sight unseen? Like maybe you heard one little thing about it and you're like, that's for me, and you went ahead and bought it. William, good to hear from you, William. He says his favorite family games are Liar's Dice, Dixit, and Codenames. Great picks for family gatherings, family reunions. Joe says games that are good for beach vacations are Six Nymph, Camel Up, Sea Salt and Paper, Trio, Just One Strike, Scram, and Temple de Shrekens. Haven't heard of that last one. I can see any of those games being great. I haven't played Scram. I need to check out that one. I brought Ito, which is very similar to Fun Facts in that line of games, same as Just One. And also, I should mention, while I'm talking about games, we flew from St. Louis to Raleigh, North Carolina. Then we rented a car and drove from Raleigh to the Outer Banks, about a 3-hour drive. But while we were in Raleigh, we stopped for lunch, and we stopped for lunch at a game cafe. We found a game cafe in Raleigh called, I'm going to blank on the name now. I am going to forget the name. Let me look it up because I'm not going to be able to find it on the fly. But if anyone knows of the name of the game cafe in Raleigh, let me know, and I'll say it out loud here to acknowledge them because we had a great time there. The food was really good. The service was wonderful. We played at Harmonies. They had a number of Stonemaier games on the shelf. I'll share some photos on Instagram soon, but we had a great time at this game cafe that I'm totally blanking the name on. It was associated with a restaurant, and I'm forgetting the name of the restaurant too. But great experience at a game cafe in Raleigh recently. Fairly Odd Parent says we got a game called Block Party. It's a bit like Pictionary, but with colors and cubes, or colored cubes, maybe. Yeah. Julio says, my wife's family is on the younger side, mid to late teens, early 20s. So we do a lot of social deduction games like Resistance. My cousin brought Resistance. We're going to play that. Deception, Werewolf. The party games too, like Just One and Telestrations work well. I agree. Yeah, I would, if I had more room, I probably would have brought Telestrations. That one does work really well. I love Just One. I decided to bring Ito as my pick for that style of game for this family reunion. Julie mentions Telestrations as well, because you can include kids with that. I'm bringing a lot of small box games, including Rolling Realms, Cartographers, and Citadels when we all go to the beach soon. And yeah, that's 2 out of the 3 that I actually brought. I actually thought about Citadels too, but didn't end up bringing that one. Ian ordered Rolling Realms Redux. Awesome, Ian. Thank you for doing that. Played Apiary 5 times last week before his ambassador spotlight for the Mill. Excited for that expansion and excited for you to be on the Mill. Hopefully I didn't miss that on Saturday. I might have missed. No, I don't think I missed anything on Saturday. Hopefully that's coming up soon. But that's great. I'm excited to showcase the Apiary expansion. About a month from now is when I'll start talking about it. Darian says, okay, Darian is our volunteer coordinator for Gen Con, and he says event tables, not volunteer, demo team coordinator. Event tables will be close to where they were last year if you're familiar with our layout at Gen Con and near the 2909 Meeple source, but closer to the center of the hall near the concession stand. Thank you, Darian, for clarifying that. If there's any other information, Darian, that you think that we should put on our website about that location, let me know. Including if you have an image, I can link to an image maybe there as well, or just show the image on our website. Jeff says that Downforce and Sheriff of Nottingham are usually family get-together games. Yeah, Downforce has worked out well. One of my cousins, or my nephews, loves Downforce, so we played that a couple times, 2 times. I also recently introduced Trekking Through History, which his mom really liked. That's great. And Sheriff of Nottingham, I can see that being another good one for family reunions. Lots of great family reunions picks here. Valerie says, Love Letter and Star Wars Love Letter. We find it fun and quick and easy to play. You know, I should have brought the Hobbit Love Letter. I didn't think of that, but I have the Hobbit version of Love Letter and really enjoy that. I didn't think to bring that. That's a nice one to stuff anywhere into a suitcase, really. Helen likes Isle of Cats, Sagrada, Ingenious, Project L, Carcassonne, and Old School Dominoes are her family reunion games. Oh, Susanna knows Zilch. She knows it as Cosmic Wimp Out, which is a delightful version from the 70s. Played a bunch with her kids on vacation. Yeah, I've heard there are lots of variations of this game. I wonder if the rules are the same or maybe slight variations. Ian likes Cockroach Poker, Strike, and Artsy Fartsy for big groups. Good picks. Darren says, so talking about the Smoking Bones world that artist Andrew Bosley is working on. We have some games that we're working on in that world. He says, are different companies making games in that world? No, Stonemaier Games we have the tabletop rights for that world. So we are going to be the only company making games, and we're working on a series of games, probably a trilogy of games in the Smoking Bones world. Joshua says, if I remember correctly, it was mentioned in the past that Andrew was involved in another game with Stonemaier Games. Is that still the case, or was that the Viticulture expansion? That might have been Viticulture World, but we have been working on the Smoking Bones stuff for a little while, so it might have been that as well. Yeah. Brian has a question about code names, but Brian, I don't reveal what the code names mean. That's why they're code names until we actually announce the game. So I have not announced. If there's a code name on our newsletter, then that means I haven't announced the game yet. G Money says, what's the minimum order amount for free shipping? I believe it's $125. And depending on how the coding works, it should be 100 for champions. But if champion coding isn't working well today, then it's 125. Braytax says, another Tapestry question. Does the new printing also include the updated city mats in the revised pack? If there are so I think there were 2 capital cities that were revised. I can't remember what sets they come from. At least one of them comes from the original Tapestry. Then yes, it is in the new printing of Tapestry. If the product description for Tapestry says revised civs, then it does include, I believe, the 2 capital city mats. Damon J says, how fast will Rolling Realms ship? Probably talking about Rolling Realms Redux or the original. So shipping in the US, Canada, and Australia should start, if all goes well, should start early next week for champions, Stonemaier champions. And shipping after that should continue for non-champions, probably the week or so after that, 1 or 2 weeks after that. In Europe, the freight shipment is taking a little bit longer because it has to go around Africa right now. And so that shipping will start probably in 2 weeks. So I asked about what to put on a taco. I see Carol says cilantro, onions, guacamole with steak. Julie says pork, pineapple, onion, cilantro. Yeah, we need to make sure we get some cilantro. I often forget about how good cilantro is. Good picks there. Fairly Odd Parent has a great list of 30 games that play in 7+ over the last 10 months. You're welcome to share the list. I'm already at the family reunion, so I can't really enhance the list from here of the games that we have, but I'm always curious to see a list of games like that. Tim likes a cheese, sour cream, peach salsa on any type of meat. I've seen a lot of I won't read through all the taco suggestions, but these are giving me some good ideas for our taco menu. Some fried bread bandit instead of tortillas. That's interesting from Luke. Sounds good. Susanna, my coworker Susanna, says her husband Joe made gluten-free blueberry muffins this week, and they were phenomenal. Ooh, that's a nice treat, Susanna. The dozen he baked didn't last the day in our household. You went through a dozen blueberry muffins. That's wonderful, Susanna. I'm glad you enjoyed them. Hilda's talking about shrimp tacos here. That's a good idea. Maybe some shrimp tacos. I like that. Cynthia is talking about vegetarian tacos because that's what we'll make some. I mean, there's a lot of leftover meat they'll probably use in the tacos. We might make some meat. I'm happy to cook meat for other people, but we eat pescatarian. She says she likes mushrooms, sweet potatoes, zucchini, corn, cabbage. All make great toppings. Yeah, I like those sweet potatoes. That's a good idea. Kenny says, did you get the 10-year edition of Sushi Go? So I have Sushi Go Party, and then I was one of the original backers on Indiegogo of Sushi Go a long, long time ago. And so I have the original small box Sushi Go, just a tiny little box from a long, long time ago. Oh, Julio mentioned That's Not a Hat. That would have gone over very well, I think, at this family reunion. I should have brought That's Not a Hat. Susanna mentions Anomia as well. Great family game. Always hilarious. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Susanna. Ice Cool and Ice Cool 2. Corey says he brought that to the beach, and they really enjoyed that. It's a little big for a suitcase, but I could definitely see that going well if you're driving to your family reunion. So many great picks. I don't know if I can even read through all of them at this point, but hey, we've got some time. Chad says Midwest euchre. Played some euchre, some rummy. It's been a while since I played euchre, but I would not mind playing that again to refresh myself a little bit. Tony says he usually teaches Arc Nova at family gatherings. Oh, he's just kidding about that. Just one hint, telestrations, or timeline challenge. William has a game design question here. Have you ever made a thematic design decision that made the game better, even if on paper it wasn't balanced or consistent within the game? Perhaps a small example could be the Expedition's Chaos Grenade. Actually, that's a great example, William. I'm glad you mentioned that one. So Chaos Grenade is a card in Expeditions that you play, and then you flip a coin. There are coins in the game, so you can flip a coin, and depending on the result, something happens. Either way, it's good, but there's one result that you probably want more than the other. I think one gives you some coins, one gives you some, eliminates a corruption, the top corruption. I think that's what it is. And you're right, it isn't consistent. There's no other coin flipping in the game. It isn't really balanced. It's a 50-50 shot. You don't know what you're getting. And I was even advised, usually when I'm advised by the solo team, when Morton says, hey, my solo team doesn't really like this, usually then I cut it. But for that particular card, I thought it was the right decision thematically to go with that, to go with the 50-50 shot. And you're still getting something either way. You're not losing either way. Because it's a grenade. You don't really know how it's going to go off. And it's a chaos grenade. So more so that way. So William, that is actually an excellent example. I do make choices like that from time to time. Usually they are smoothed out or removed due to playtest, whether they're Automa playtest or multiplayer playtest. The feedback that we get from those things tend to go away, but every now and then I keep them in there if I think it's a really, really good fit. Brian mentions a game called Pictures is a good game for classrooms and families. I don't think I've heard of Pictures before. I've heard of Pictionary. Let's see, Garrett. So Garrett recently bought a game based on just a very brief, based on a retweet. Dan Thoreau of Space Biff retweeted a video, Shut Up and Sit Down, made about a game and based purely off of that. He pre-ordered it before reading or watching anything about it. And then he did so afterwards. I was excited to get it. I'm glad you were excited to get it after you researched it a little bit. Carol says that Challengers, Hues and Cues, and Nana have been our most recent large family successes. Charcuterie went with her family, her sister and mom too. I was tempted to bring charcuterie, maybe a little big for my suitcase. Okay, G Money's helping me out here. The Game Cafe, Side Quest, Game Lounge, Gamers, Geekery, the Kitchen Table. The Kitchen Table was the one that we went to. The Kitchen Table, and it was like the Kitchen Table at something because the at is the restaurant, but we went to the Kitchen Table Game Cafe in Raleigh, North Carolina, and had a great time there. So I wanted to give them a shout out. Thank you for looking that up for me. Michelle also was right there on it, the kitchen table. It was indeed, Michelle. Yeah. It looks like some younger kids and some teens came over and wanted to IB Jeeper, wanted to play Unstable Unicorns over and over. I don't have Unstable Unicorns. I haven't played that one, but I think that style of game can work really well for family reunions. Sounds like Ian and Carol confirming that they just filmed Ian's Spotlight. That'll be on the Mill in the near future. Next month, looks like. Aaron says he bought Caper Europe at Gen Con last summer for the theme alone and became one of his favorites. So all he knew was the theme, and he jumped in and went for it. That's cool. Wayne is excited about the travel box included inside Rolling Realms Redux. That is a really clever addition from Corel. Really, really clever addition. I'm glad he thought of that. Ray wanted to pop in to congratulate us on Rolling Realms Redux. Thank you, Ray, for doing that. We are excited to have that on our web store now. You can go get Rolling Realms Redux and a ton of restocks and some other new products, including the Wingspan bonus cards on our web store now. Oh, this is fun. Joe had a Spiel des Jahres game night on Saturday. Yeah, the winners were announced. I think Daybreak won. Daybreak, Sky Team, and then a kids game that I can't remember the name of. Oh, maybe he says. If Captain Flip, I don't think won. Or maybe it did. Did Captain Flip win? Either way, I haven't played. I thought another game won instead of Captain Flip, but Joe does mention it here. Michael says they enjoyed Between Two Cities with his parents, and they enjoyed it. That's great. Yeah, we played Between Two Cities. I sometimes forget how nice it is to teach Between Two Cities because you can position people at the table so that everyone who knows the game is next to potentially two people who don't know the game, and you can teach them on the fly. That's exactly what we did the other day when we played a full 7 players of Between Two Cities. Had a great time. I think even, does the new edition play up to 8? I can't remember. Might only play up to 7. But yeah, it plays at least up to 7. Let's see. So Darren says if you do place a launch order on our web store, we always say that it ships in 1 to 3 weeks. That is our estimate. But ideally, the champion orders will start shipping after a few days. But, we get an influx of orders at a launch. And so it can sometimes take a few days for the fulfillment center to get ready to actually ship it. They're taking all those orders in. They're optimizing them into different batches. Maybe they're starting to box some things up. So we overestimate typically on the time that it takes to ship launch orders. But hopefully it will be sooner than that. But usually it'll take at least a week for champion orders, and then hopefully the next week are non-champion orders. Sandy says, just picked up viticulture and got some mini dollhouse wine bottles. That's cool. And a charcuterie board to replace the corks and first player marker. Do you upgrade any of your components in your games? It's a fun question, Sandy. I think it's pretty rare that I do, but I have a lot of bits and bobs from various games, including a lot of different metal coins that I will oftentimes pull out when I'm playing a game that doesn't have metal coins, and I'll throw those in the game and play them and use those for that session. But there aren't many games that I've really decked out, and sometimes people, including MeepleSource, Cynthia, I saw Cynthia in the comments earlier, will very graciously send us some tokens for their games, and I do love to play with those tokens, but I'm also a little hesitant to do that because when I share photos of me playing those games, I don't want to confuse anyone into thinking that those are the standard versions of the components. So, yeah, little mix of the two there. But I do enjoy fancy components in games in general. Marlene has a nice comment about her Stonemaier purchase that Joe was very helpful. Yeah, Joe and Dave are helping out with customer service today, and I'm glad that Joe was helpful for you and your order. If you do run into any issues with your order, in general, I would recommend going ahead and placing the order and then sending your order number from your primary email, including your champion email if you're Stonemaier champion, to contact@stonemaier.com, and Joe or Dave will help you out there. Darian is sharing a link to a map here. Awesome. Thank you for doing that, Darian. I can't really copy and paste the link here, but I appreciate you sharing that. That's in the comments if anyone wants to look at it. Darren says that he enjoyed Don't Get Got at his last games day. That's great. Let's see. Brayfunk says, I saw on my newsletter after ordering Rolling Realms Redux and a few more items are loaded today. Ignore if already asked, but it seems that Codename Keep will be coming soon. When will we learn of it? So yeah, as usual, I don't talk about Codename stuff until it becomes a reality, but I can say that we have several announcements in August, including the apiary expansion. So in August, which isn't that far away, we're in late July right now. So you'll see some announcements from me in Design Diaries in August about various games or various things. And you'll also see those things, if everything goes as planned, on our web store in early September. That's currently the plan. Let's see. Mark says, I've watched one of the reviews for Rolling Realms Redux, and I like that they are called Rolling Realms. They called Rolling Realms a celebration of all board games as part of Rolling Realms world. How do you feel about this? I really like that. I think Covray said that in their review, or at least that's the quote that they sent me, Ilya and Tylor. And I really like that. Yeah, Rolling Realms is really a celebration of games. It started out with a celebration of Stonemaier Games and will continue to be. But yeah, I think it's a celebration of so many different games. I really hope that people every now and then play a realm of a game that they haven't played and then realize that they really like that mechanism that we highlighted in the realm, and they go buy that game. Doesn't need to be a Stonemaier game. I'm happy to support these games from other publishers. I played nearly every game that we've made a realm about, and I would say that I really love the vast majority of games that we've made the realms for. Some, I would say at the very least, it's that I really like the game. I'm happy to play it, but most of them I really, really love. And vice versa too. I hope every now and then someone plays a game and then wants to play that realm as the result of playing that game. So yeah, it is a celebration of the tabletop games industry. Steve mentions a game called Five Crowns, a rummy style game where the number of cards you have in your hand is the number that is wild for the round. Oh, that's cool. I like that. Okay, Brian's talking about the game Pictures. Cards with photos are laid out like code names, and each player has a different set of materials to recreate their photo, trying to get others to find which picture they were assigned. Oh, that's cool. That's really neat. Luke says, are there plans to sell separate plastic Gears of Corruption mechs? I think they're already on the web store, and if they're out of stock, Luke, then we need to restock them. It might depend on your area a little bit. We might offer them in some areas more than others, but I thought we put plastic mechs. Oh, you're talking about the expansion specifically? No, I think we made expansion mechs to put on the web store. So I think they might already be there, and if they're out of stock, then just enter a back in stock notification, then we'll know to make more. Brad says it again, the kitchen table at Relish. That's what it was. He says he also vacations at the Outer Banks. Yeah, we were briefly in Raleigh just a couple days ago and had a great time at the kitchen table at Relish. Had good food, really good. We had a waffle breakfast pizza. So it was a breakfast pizza on a waffle that was delicious, and also a really good goat cheese grilled cheese sandwich that I really enjoyed at this game cafe. And we played Harmonies. Had a great time doing that. Brad says that he enjoys Redwood, Wingspan, and Viticulture as themes more theme-based that his mom can get into. That's great. Mark says, unusual question. I saw some interesting games available via Miniature Market and thinking of purchasing direct from them. Do you know if it's possible that my ambassador shirt was shipped from them? So if you order from the U.S. web store, then the Miniature Market is our warehouse and fulfillment center for the U.S. if you're ordering from our U.S. web store. So if you ordered your ambassador shirt from the U.S. web store, then yes, Miniature Market is handling the shipping for that. Miniature Market is also a retailer that is a separate entity, but they use the same warehouse and fulfillment center. But I don't think it is possible to consolidate a Miniature Market order with a Stonemaier Games order. Maybe not impossible, Mark. I know you are pretty far away from here, so might be possible to do that, but not through Stonemaier Games at the very least. That would have to go through the Miniature Market customer service system and give them as much information as possible if you want to try to do that. Sean says his family games are Spots, which one of the ones that I brought, Riff Raff, King Domino, Sherlock, Consulting Detective. I can see that working really well, and Redwood. A couple of recommendations, Redwood recently. I need to play that. Anthony says, have you got plans for a live playthrough of the Redux Realms? Yeah, my plan is to play Rolling Realms Redux live for the first time either next week or the next week. Next week I'm a little tentative on because I think most people won't actually have the Redux Realms next week. It's a little soon. So I might hold off one more week and do a live play then. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. One of the two. Chad says, what do you feel are important aspects of an adventure-style board game? Chad, I might have a video about that if you search for adventure or narrative. But yeah, what makes a game have an adventure feel to it? It's a good question. I would say that it has both a written narrative and an emergent narrative, where you're both reading some story elements, but also having your own story emerge, the room to tell that in the story. In terms of mechanisms, and I don't know, there's a lot of different mechanisms that I think you could use for an adventure style game. But I think the way that I like to think about an adventure style game is cinematically, where you have a distinct beginning, middle, and end to the journey of what, and that there is a journey involved in that adventure. Yeah, that's a great question, though. I am curious what other people think, what they think of when they think about adventure games. Are there any either specific games themselves or specific elements that they have noticed in multiple adventure style games? Damon J asks what the Wingspan bonus card packs contains. It does not contain any new bonus cards at all. It's all the bonus cards that were in Wingspan and in the first 3 expansions, just packaged together because people asked for them many times over time for us to sell those bonus cards by themselves. So that oftentimes, because the bonus cards are the only deck of cards that are that you really do kind of touch every card every time you play Wingspan. You shuffle them all together. You shuffle the bird cards too, but you hardly ever get through all the bird cards. So we decided to make a pack so people could replenish their bonus cards, but there's no new cards on the bonus card pack. Cynthia also likes the game Pictures. Great party type game for casual gamers and non-gamers. I need to check that out. Pictures, that sounds great. Yeah, we're getting near the end here. Let's see if there's anything else that I missed from the newsletter. I don't think there's any other big news from the newsletter that I talked about. The main news is Rolling Realms Redux and all the restocks that I've talked about today. Here's Rolling Realms, but not Redux. Thank you all for joining me for this vacation family reunion live cast. I'm sorry about the technical glitches early on, but the Wi-Fi kicked in and started working really well after a little bit. So I am really glad that worked out. Thank you for your patience. And this video will be up on YouTube as normal. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns that arise after the video is no longer live, feel free to post them in the comments on YouTube. And if you do have any questions about your order, again, I would recommend going ahead and placing the order and then going to customer service. We definitely will help within the day. contact@stonemaier.com. Include your order number, screenshots of what's going wrong or what went wrong, and email us from your champion email. And mention if you're a champion and use your champion email if that is the case. But yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful Wednesday, a wonderful week, and I will see you next week for some combination of live cast and maybe Rolling Realms Redux live plays, but I might wait one more week until people have actually started to receive their copies of Redux. All right, take care. Bye.